Hey guys, Squatch Reloading here. Today we are going to kick off our 223 series bulk loading on a single stage press. And I want to break this down a little bit more for you guys. When I'm talking about bulk loading, I'm talking about bulk processing. And the key, so you don't drive yourself absolutely mad doing rifle on a single stage press, especially like 223, if it's something that you want to have a lot of at any given time, in my opinion, the best way to do it is to bulk process it. And I'm going to break down how I do that in this video. But in this series, how we are going to, basically using our RCBS rock chucker. It's a single stage press. We're going to be using our Uniflow powder measure, our load block. We're going to be setting up dies, and we're going to work through each of the process, filling these bins, which I'm going to get to in a second, and then making completed rounds at the end. So stick around and let's get started. So to clarify a couple things, when I'm referring to bulk loading 223, what I'm really referring to is bulk processing. If we take all the steps in the reloading process to manufacture a 223 round, there is a lot of steps involved. And to break that up into more bite-sized chunks, having these bins, for example, you can bulk process or do one or two steps, in bulk, I guess. For example, when we're talking about my first bin here, cleaning, decapping, decapping 223 doesn't take a lot of time. And, basically the only quality checks we're doing is we're visually looking to make sure the primer's out of there. We don't have a Burdan primer mixed in, and, cleaning. During that process, we can also quickly look for cracks or any deformation of the cartridge during that step. So we can fill that bin up pretty quick. When we get into our resizing, or my resizing bin here, it has a lot more steps involved. We got to lube and resize the brass. I always clean it again, afterwards in a dry media tumbler, and then doing the trimming. So making sure we get the right trim length, and then doing our chamfer, our OD and ID chamfer on the case mouth, and then conditioning the primer pocket. Now, if you guys aren't getting into a lot of mil-spec brass and don't deal with primer pockets, that's one step that you wouldn't have to do. But that's probably the most tedious part of the reloading process for 223. So that's why, doing all of that in one bin and having it done just makes sense to me. And then in the final bin here, when I'm doing this process, adding in the primers at any part of the step because there's an additional cleaning operation, or trimming and there's shavings and things that you need to be careful of or mindful of. So I have everything ready, primed, ready to go. So as I'm loading 223 on my single stage and I pull from this bin, that'll trigger me to do other processes, in other times when I'm reloading, or set aside time just to fill this bin or just to fill this bin. And breaking it up into multiple steps, it seems that you can make more ammunition quicker with this process. Now, some of you guys might not like this or have a different process, and that's great and that's fine. Whatever. The point is, developing a system where you can bulk process will help you bulk reload 223. So I'm just presenting you with an example of how I do it, and I'm sure you guys have maybe better methods, or you don't like this method, but I'm just presenting it to you. This is how I do it. And when I'm talking about bulk reloading 223 on a single stage, what I'm referring to is bulk processing each step and having bins and different cartridges at different steps in the process. All right, so I thought I would do this first video in the series just to kind of explain the method to my madness when we're talking about bulk reloading, or should I say bulk processing 223 when all you have is a single stage to work with. In my opinion, I think breaking it down into the steps or bins, you can add a bin or add a step, take out a step, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just keep in mind that, as you break it up, you have more opportunity to complete one step of the process. If you got an hour to spend, you can knock out a couple hundred real easy in each of the steps. So, be thinking about that with whatever setup that you decide to do. Again, this is just my method, and it's worked out great for me, at least the way I think and the way I do things. Also, as you break it down, you're adding in a lot more opportunity to do critical checks, like for split cases or bird and primers, or there's just so many opportunities when you break it down into steps like I'm presenting to you guys. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to get the sizing die set up on this press. We're going to go through lubing the cases up, doing sizing, and then a final clean of the case, which I like to do after I've sized. I got lubricant on there. I want to get that off. And then we'll work through all the dies from the installing the primer to doing bullet seating and bullet crimp, and then we'll finish it up from there. So probably 3 to 4 videos is what I'm looking at to get all this done and get everything conveyed in a smaller video that doesn't take up too much time. So if you guys like what you see, if you have any questions or comments, please hit me up on Gmail, squatchreloading@gmail.com. If you would and you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe with notifications so you get up to date on all of our upcoming content. You can always find me on Instagram and Facebook at Squatch Reloading. But until next time, guys, God bless.